Why do we use incense at Mass? Since Isaiah chapter 1 verse 13 calls it an abomination. The religious use of incense has its origin from ancient time. That is, from ancient time, in the temple worship and practice, the burnt incense has always been used as a symbol or a sacrificial offerings to serve as an aid in prayer. The smoke of the incense is interpreted as a symbol of the prayer of the faithful rising to heaven. When you go through Psalm 141 verse 2, we are told, "Let my prayer be directed as incense, and let there also be the lifting up of my hands as an evening sacrifice." Revelation chapter 5 verse 8 and even Revelation chapter 8 verse 3 tells us that the incense symbolizes the prayer of the saints in heaven. When you go through those passages of the scriptures, we read that the golden bowl full of incense are the prayers of the saints which infuse upwards towards the altar of God. To understand the book of Isaiah chapter 1 verse 13 that is often referred to as the passage that calls incense an abomination, there is the need to also read the whole of the chapter 1 of the prophet Isaiah. Because it is the prophecy of Isaiah about God's anger against Israel because of their sins. They preferred sacrifice rather than obedience to the law of God. And that is why when you go through the book of the prophet Isaiah, one part that keeps resounding is the fact that God saying to his people, "My people serve me only with lip service." And for you to have clarity concerning the use of incense in the church, I would ask you to also read the book of Exodus, chapter 30, verse 34 to 37. The book of Numbers, chapter 16, verse 6 to 7. The book of Leviticus, chapter 16, verses 12 to 13. And to also read the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 1, verses 8 to 11. And then you can read the book of Revelations, chapter 8, verses 3 to 4. And when you go through all these passages of the scriptures, you will see that the church's use of incense is not an abomination before God, but it is something that pleases the heart of God. Because just as the fragrance and the smoke rises to heaven, so also the prayers of the people continue to rise before God, who is a loving and merciful Father, who in turn answers the prayer of his children according to his riches in glory. My dear brothers and sisters, do you have questions pertaining to the faith or even social issues you would like me to answer? Please send them here and I will answer them for you.